Hold up, before you get to watching this video, let me talk to you for a second. Hit that bell down below and subscribe to the Fitz Take Podcast YouTube channel so you'll know when every episode is dropping or if something has been posted on this page. Also, be sure to follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. Now back to the episode. Staying in the state, and we're going to go east of us as we're heading out to Baton Rouge, where LSU had their home opener against in-state opponent Nicholls State, winning that game 44-21. And while it looked great in the box score, if you were watching the game, there was a moment in time before LSU pulled away that the score was 23-21. And it wasn't LSU's best overall performance. And like I said last night on our live stream, which if you guys hopped on that, we truly appreciate that. We'll be doing more of those as the season progresses. I don't think it's the time to hit the panic button, but I think it's the time to look in the mirror and really try to figure out who you are as a football team. Figure out what you do well, figure out what you don't do well, and you need to make those changes and adapt. So, Elijah, what is the biggest thing that you feel like this LSU team needs to do? They need to get fixed as they, head out to South Carolina this next weekend.
Who want to play? Who want to put out there and go out there and put a helmet on? After having my my little rant yesterday on that live, I fell asleep, woke up, thinking if I felt any different. I didn't. Not about this football team. I still feel the same. I think they need to find who wants to play. Because at the end of the day, as we can see freshmen, contributing yesterday with the Tigers offense, Saturday with the Tigers offense. And we know that they have experience with the line. The line sometimes looks sloppy on offense. The defense looks sloppy. Like I'm not changing my opinion. It's Nicholls. So at the end of the day, you have to find out who wants to play, who wants to go out there and perform. Don't just do it because it looks good and it sounds good because you play for now the 16th ranked team in the nation. No, you want to find somebody who wants to go out there and wants to win football games. I want to play my role to win football games and not be just a star. I want to play my role and win football games, and I think that's what it's going to take. Brian Kelly has to take a deep dive and take all Eagles, strip the Eagles aside, and saying I have to find somebody and find these guys that want to compete and win football games. I'm not questioning their hearts, but I'm questioning what comes behind that, because as we seen last year, it was a lot of lights, cameras, action, but it was because those guys put in the work. The Jaden Daniels, the Malik Neighbors, all those guys put in that work to get to that point. I'm not saying Kyron and those guys not doing it, but at the same time, you got to step to your own drum this time. And this is where I think Brian Kelly has to put it together. Hey, you know what? We're not last year. This is this year's team, and we have to find guys that's going to step to that drum, show up, play their role so we can win football games, because this team is talented, but they're only going to go as far as what they have displayed so far. So how I feel about LSU.
Yeah, you're right on that, E. I think overall they're going to have to figure out what they're doing when it comes to depth. Chris Hilton has been hurt for the first two games of the season. You got to get him on the field. He is your number one deep threat when it comes to throwing the football down the field. You got to be able to get that brother on the field because he is, an amazing speedster on the offensive side of the ball. Guys like Shelton Sampson, I think he had a couple of snaps there in the game. You got to figure out how to get him some touches. You got to figure out what you're going to do in the backfield, running the football now that you don't have John Emery there anymore. You got Josh Williams, Caleb Jackson, Caden Durham, and then you add Jawan Johnson in the mix as well, which shout out to him for scoring a touchdown there on Saturday night. And then also at the defensive tackle position, you're going to be even thinner, as we found out that Jacobian Guillory, an Alexandria native, a guy that we covered in his high school career, is going to be out for the season with a torn Achilles. So now somebody's got to step up and play. Is it a Don McKinley that you recruited? Is it a Demarion Johnson from Westgate? Who is it that's going to step up and fill in those roles? Like, it's not about are they ready to play now? It's, are you willing to play? Are you willing to go out and make those plays? Are you willing to go out there and be ready enough to, understand the game plan, to dive deep enough into the playbook, to do the extra reps in the weight room, whatever it is that you need to be doing to make sure that you're prepared, because now you're stepping in SEC play. South Carolina is coming off of a victory against Kentucky where they mollywopped them. And so now you have to go on the road. You have to go out there and figure out what your team is made of. You've already had a road test there in week one, or a neutral site or whatever. You had to get on a bus, you had to get on a plane and go and play in that football game. So now you got to go and do it again. And like I always say, you got to have a run game, you got to have a defense whenever you hit the road. And so if LSU's defense can't tidy things up because they gave up a lot of yardage on the ground, if they can't tighten things up in that, this is going to be a long season for them, because ultimately, if you can't play championship caliber defense, then you're going to be in an unfortunate situation, because it doesn't matter how many points your offense scores. If your offense scores 100, but you give up 107, you still lost the game. You know what I mean? So I think that as this team continues to progress, I think playmakers, more guys will begin to step up, but it's just a question of who it will be in this department. So, with that in mind, Elijah, who do you think will be somebody that's really going to step up that maybe people aren't looking at, that people aren't seeing right now, that's going to be a major name that's going to step up?
I know it's too early to tell, but I like what I seen from Jawan. I really did. I like what I seen from Jawan. I mean, I know he was limited with opportunities, but he made the most out of those limited opportunities. Getting a touchdown. I know early in the game he was like he had 3 catches for I think like 16 yards and a touchdown. I didn't really get to see him carry the football. I'm waiting to see that. But what this tells me is that hey, you would just implement it into the offensive game plan probably middle of the week, and for you to have those limited opportunities and make that, imagine when he actually understands what he has to do. I think he can actually be something on that offense. Again, he's a freshman. He's hungry. He's willing to get out there, do what he want to do. We covered him in high school. We seen what he could do with the football in his hands. I'm interested to see what Jawan can do, man. That's one guy because again, it's not easy just going from offense to deep. That's two different things. That is completely two different things. There's two different rooms. There's two different terminologies. There's two different ways of coaching. I mean, I'm not sure how hard the defensive coaches on these guys and offensive coaches on these guys, but it's two different worlds in the college world, and it gets bigger when you get to the pros. So, Jawan, I think Jawan can be somebody that we can see a key factor with, especially with the running backs and how one goes down and the other one is they're inconsistent in that room. I think Jawan could probably bring some consistency into that Tiger backfield.
Absolutely. And, Brian Kelly said, after the game, talking in post, that, he was very, very impressed with the way Dewan was able to soak up knowledge and able to, garner in the game plan and understand what they were trying to do schematically. Obviously, you get a guy, you give a guy 48 hours to try to figure out what you're doing offensively. Not everybody is even going to be able to know where to line up at. But the simple fact that he was able to give you 3 catches for 16 yards and that touchdown that he scored says a lot as a testament to him. Like we said, or like you said, we know the type of athlete that he is. When it comes to going out and making plays, I mean, he has the most total yardage in Louisiana high school football history. Like, there's a reason that he's that guy. Because he's such a dynamic playmaker. He understands the concepts of what defenses are trying to do and how he can, manipulate it. If I had to say a guy that I truly believe is going to be someone that's going to step up, I think it's going to be Aaron Anderson. I think that, he's been waiting for some time. He started his career at Alabama, transferred in, and now, he's getting some touches. He's getting those quick screens. He's getting a few routes here and there, up and down the field. I think that when you combine the fact that Kyron Lacey is kind of your true number one receiver, you have Chris Hilton that's going to be your speedster threat. I think that guy that's the happy medium in between is Aaron Anderson, and that's somebody that, that can almost become almost a security blanket for Garrett. Okay, they're doubling, Kyron over here, or they're rolling cloud coverage over here to Chris. Let me hit, Aaron over here in this quick out route, or he's running this wheel route up the sideline. Let me see if I can catch him and hit him in between for this whole shot. I think that he is a guy that is also was an impressive athlete in high school there at Edna Carr, and now comes in at the collegiate level and still has explosive playmaking ability. And then I believe he's also there in special teams. So he can, affect the game in so many different ways, not just offensively. I think that he is a guy that people need to look out for. I think that he's already made plays here and there during the season. He had, 5 catches, 63 yards in their game against Nicholls, and then he had a few catches there against USC. I think that upcoming as the season progresses on, that he's going to be a guy that we're really going to need to keep an eye out for as we look at these LSU Tigers. So LSU did move up in the AP poll to number 16 there in the country. And their next matchup will be in South Carolina as they head there. Currently, the spread has LSU as a 7-point favorite and an 11 a.m. kickoff. They will start that game there on Saturday, September the 14th. It will be on ABC. You can be able to watch that game if you're in Lafayette. That's KATC. So tap in with us for the 11 a.m. kick as LSU will face off with the Gamecocks. And we'll probably do some kind of post-game reaction of some sort after that game is over. So you guys can be able to tap in with us. Thank you so much for watching this clip of the Fitz Take podcast. Be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. And remember, every episode of the Fitz Take podcast will air right here on the YouTube channel every Monday at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.